We've got Byron
Yes.
York. He is with the Washington Examiner. And Byron, thank you for joining us. This story about the Biden family took another turn yesterday as James Comer revealed that there was a pseudonym, Robert L. Peters, that then Vice President Biden used for emails. And I draw your attention to two in particular, if I could, Byron. One of them where Hunter Biden was copied on an email involving Robert L. Peters. It was a heads up for a phone call with the president of Ukraine, Mr. Poroshenko. And then there's this one, June 14th. It was delivered to Robert L. Peters by someone who worked in the vice president's office. Hunter Biden's copied on it, and it included his schedule card for the next day. That schedule card included multiple meetings with the prime minister of Ukraine. Byron, this seems like smoking gun kind of stuff. Why would a vice president need a fake name?
I, Robert L. Peters, do solemnly swear. I don't know. Look, anytime something really insane, seemingly insane happens, I say to myself, okay, has this ever been done before? I mean, is there some reasonable example of somebody having done this before, some previous vice president or president, and there's actually a reasonable explanation for it? I don't think there is one here. And beyond the pseudonym, what you were just describing, keeping Hunter Biden abreast of Joe Biden's activities as regards Ukraine is really damning because, of course, Ukraine was a big source of income for Hunter Biden and wanted it to be an even bigger source of income. And as we know, Joe Biden has denied any knowledge of all this stuff. So it's a huge development. I don't think Comer has yet gotten all of the entirely unredacted documents that he wants. But he needs to get them soon.
Yeah. And Patrice, I'll throw it to you, but let's just be clear. If those emails connecting Ukraine to Vice President Biden at the time and his son, Hunter Biden, on those emails, if they had his name, they would have showed up on multiple FOIA requests. That's why, to me, it seems logical. That's why you use a fake name, because it's connecting the actions of the vice president to his son, who is getting rich off Ukraine businessmen, with specific policy objectives involving leaders in Ukraine. I'll go ahead and throw it to you, Patrice.
Yeah, I can't see anything otherwise. But I'd love to shift gears just a little bit, Byron, because next week we're going into the first Republican National Committee debate. We've got 8 contenders who have made this debate stage. We will see how many of them actually show up, namely the top-ranking former President Trump. We were talking to Speaker Newt Gingrich earlier, and I asked him, who needs to have a blowout night and who is going to bow out after the night. And I'll ask you the same thing. Who do you think needs to show really well, and who do you think is probably not gonna peter out after next week?
Well, I think that 7 of the candidates are really locked to show up. So I think it's going to be at least a 7-candidate debate. And the thing to think about is a debate with Trump and then a debate without Trump are just wildly different things. They're not going to be anything like each other. So I'm kind of thinking, just guessing, that Trump is not going to show up and is going to try to counter-program and distract attention from this and all of that. But, clearly you think that the person who needs to do well the most is Ron DeSantis, because this conventional wisdom has set in that his campaign is a mess, that he's a terrible campaigner, that he's on the way down. And I have to say, if you look at the Real Clear Politics average of national polls, his support today is half of what it was in January. Half. It's been a long, slow slide. We talk about Trump going up after the indictments. Well, DeSantis went down after the Trump indictments. They affected him too. So, I think he clearly needs to do well. And he's had this kind of embarrassing development. Nobody knows exactly how it happens, but a lot of his campaign prep documents have been posted on the internet. So sort of we all know some of the things that he was going to say, that Chris Christie was a guy who was trying out for a show on MSNBC. Well, now if he says that about Chris Christie, you will think, oh, well, that's exactly in the script. So that didn't help one bit. Other people who are going to do well, you have to think Vivek Ramaswamy is going to do really well. He's a great talker, and I just imagine he will do well. Christie's whole deal will be attacking Trump. Now, if Trump isn't there, he'll just attack him anyway. I think one thing to really watch about this, I've seen some commentary saying, well, if Trump is not there, then all the candidates will just go after him. I don't think that's the case at all. I think certainly Christie will, because that's kind of the reason for being in his campaign. But everybody else, I've watched them just walk on eggshells and tiptoe around the Trump issues. They don't really want to talk about it all that much, and they're not going to just come out and they'll bash Trump all the time. They'll have a few gentle criticisms, but I just don't think it's going to be a Trump bashing affair, because they know so much of their Republican audience supports Trump right now.
Yeah.
And the idea is, if something changes and that support begins to soften or fall away, then they want to take advantage of it. And I don't think they think the way to do it is by trashing Trump in the debate.
Byron York, we'll have to leave it there.